So hello guys, welcome to yet another episode and event of Designhill. Today I have a great panelist of ladies with me, and I'm sure it's going to be an exciting session as promised in the last event that we did. And I hope everybody's family is keeping safe and you're taking care of the protocols in your home countries. So I welcome you all to today's topic, and where we will be discussing about audience engagement through multi-social media live video streaming, which is a very exciting topic, and it's recently developed in a social media forums and discussions, and we can really take advantage of this topic and learn from all these great experts here and help our brand grow, reach out to our audiences, and really generate the engagement that we always look for on social channels. So this event is brought to you by Designhill, which is world's leading creative marketplace that caters to creative needs of businesses and individuals alike. And we have a platform, it's a robust marketplace platform where we have more than 200K artists and designers and creators whom you can avail your services from, build your brand, take your brand to next level. And on every day, you can come up on Designhill and ask for your requirements, and they'll be met within a short span of time by a wonderful audience and wonderful creators who are from more than 180 countries across the globe. So moving ahead, let me introduce you our speakers for today. We have Dorian Morin Van Dam, and she's a social media consultant, more in media. Dorian is a social media consultant, organic social media specialist, certified agile marketer, community manager, and a keynote speaker. She has been in the trenches of social media for nearly 10 years, starting out as a local specialist, learning about B2B, and now she's working with the international brands. Dorian, please go ahead and say hi to audience.
Hi, everybody. I'm so glad to be back with Designhill. This is an awesome team. You're in for a treat. I am on this panel with five friends, and I'm just excited to be here, and you're going to learn tons of stuff. We're all live streamers, and I'm excited to be here, and thank you again to the Designhill team. You make it so easy to just show up and have fun, so thank you.
Thank you for being here. And with us is Grace Duffy, and she's a video host and podcaster, social media expert with LIVESTREAM. And Grace is the virtual event manager at Restream, a multiple streaming platform that allows you to broadcast live to 30 plus social media networks at the same time. That's amazing. And she's also the co-host and producer of Social Media News Live, a weekly live show and podcast that keeps you up to date on what's happening in the world of social media. Grace.
Hi, everyone. I am so thrilled to be on this powerhouse panel. So thank you for inviting me to be here today.
Thank you for being here with us today. With us is Jessica Phillips, relationship marketing strategist, founder Now Marketing Group. Jessica is a social media strategist known for her outspoken dedication to relationship marketing. Her personal mission is to inspire people to love more, give more, and be more through using authentic relationships every day. She founded Now Marketing Group in 2010 with only a laptop and a vision, as like many entrepreneurs. So welcome, Jessica.
Thanks so much for having me. I feel super fancy being here with all these super smarties beside me, and being, again, back here with Designhill. So thanks for having me.
And our next panelist on the show today is Kate Payne, and she's a personal branding coach. Kate helps authors, speakers, coaches, entrepreneurs, executives, and independent professionals stand out online to become recognized authorities in their industry. She has a knack for helping them discover their personal story and how to weave it into their personal brand. Kate.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here, and thanks for inviting me again, Designhill. This is my second time, and looking forward to having some fun. Thanks.
And we always love to have you on our shows. And with us is Viveka Von Rosen, and she's a LinkedIn expert, co-founder at Vengresso. Known as the LinkedIn expert, she's the author of best-selling books, LinkedIn Marketing, An Hour a Day, and LinkedIn 101 Ways to Rock Your Personal Brand. She's a contributing expert to LinkedIn's official sales and marketing blogs. Viveka takes the LinkedIn and social selling experience over the past 14 years and transforms it to engaging and informational digital sales strategies.
Well, I guess you all know what I'm going to be talking about. Hey, everyone. I am thrilled to be here with this amazing audience and also with my awesome friends. So this is great. Hello.
We'd love to hear more about you, how to explore LinkedIn and how to benefit out of it. People are usually more interested in knowing more about LinkedIn, given its, the audience that there is on LinkedIn, and how to derive the cost benefits out of LinkedIn. being it a very
Well,
cost.
it's the best network, so you know.
Yeah. So welcome on the show.
Let's start the controversy now.
Yes. We'll get it rolling when we start the question session. So thank you so much, guys, for being here today. And thank you so much for taking out time and joining us here today and making this panel discussion happen with all the wonderful speakers that we have put together. And thanks very much to our Designhill events team for putting up this panel discussion and assembling these great speakers and experts in their respective domain. So before we start the session, here's the big announcement. We are giving away certificates to all the attendees who will stick till the end of the session. You can't just miss this chance, so stay tuned till the end. Or you can take the screenshots of this event, post it on your Twitter using Designhill events as a hashtag, or tag DesignhillDH and add more in media, Grace Duffy, at Jessica Phillips, at KPayne66, at LinkedIn Expert, whose Twitter handles we'll be putting in the chat section. One lucky winner will have a chance to win a print shop gift card worth $50, where you can just go on print shop and buy your creative stuff, your hoodies, or t-shirts, or phone cover for yourself, or gift to somebody you love, you know. So all right, so before we start this session, let's quickly look at what Designhill is all about.
Looking to get your boss to remember your name?
Looking to get your boss to remember your name? Head to the world's number one.
When my company promoted me to head up our latest real estate development project, I was excited, then anxious, then petrified. How was I going to hire the team, get the designs completed, and design beautiful presentation materials on our lean budget while impressing my bosses, some of whom are still learning my name?
Good job, Mitch.
My name's Lawrence. That's why I went to Designhill and got the design help I needed that fit within my company's brand guidelines. The process was simple. Designhill's design contest ensured I'd get a ton of results I'd love. Start by picking a number of designs that inspire you. This one's good, and that one. This one speaks to me. Then share some information about the project. Lastly, pick a package that fits your budget. Do you just want a logo, or do you want it all? Then, boom. I got more than 60 custom design options to choose from, as well as all the other graphic design assets I wanted. And it's all backed by Designhill's 100% money-back guarantee. If I don't find a design I like, I get my money back. You can't lose. Now I have what I need to make a splash at my meetings, with everything from business cards, pamphlets, posters, and more. It's real.
Let the world know it's real and build your brand with Designhill.
Can't hear you.
Welcome back, guys. This was all about Designhill and what we do. There's much more to come. You can know about Designhill by visiting www.designhill.com. So we'll start the session right away without further ado. And we'll start with very basics so that you get the concept, and then we'll develop on more complex ideas and more hacks and tips and operational stuff, and how, you know, really to measure the metrics and really derive the benefits out of it. And finally, what you're all looking for is making conversions out of it. So I'll directly start this question with Dorian, and I'll really ask her, you know, take us through the basics of what live streaming is all about and how to do it on multiple platforms and why to do it at all.
I guess I can unmute myself. All right. So here we are. So live streaming, guys, is turning on a camera, and instead of pre-recording and instead of making it all pretty and nice and organized, you're just going to go live and talk to the audience, just like I am doing today, which we are doing. That is live streaming. And you can do that on lots of different platforms, right? With what's happening in the world, with you know, the world shutting down, everybody flocked to Zoom as a tool that we kind of knew, and some of that live streaming is more for teams, for internal, but as a brand, you can also take that outside of your internal team and go outside and tell the world about your brand through live streaming. And it can be talking heads like what we're doing today, but you can also live stream by turning the camera around and showing the world what your brand's all about, and putting the camera on your staff, your customers, your products, all these different things. So live streaming is really a unique opportunity to have that one-on-one conversation with thousands or hundreds of thousands, millions of people by showing what's going on in your company. So that's really short term what it is, and I'm going to turn it over to some of the other experts here. I see Jessica, you're nodding. Jessica, let's go to you.
Awesome. Well, you hit it right there. I mean, it provides access, is what I think, to companies and to their connections. And then I feel like a level of humanity, right? And tone and a quicker way of building relationships. You could see me nodding along, agreeing with what you were saying, versus if somebody's just, typing something, you don't always know that. So I love live video for that because of the access that it can build relationships a lot faster. A lot of us were talking before we got started, and many of us had heard of each other, but we didn't have a chance to connect. And now I get to watch you and hear your tone, understand a little bit more about you. So I feel like it provides access, as well as it provides some connection to build relationships a lot faster with your audience. And studies have found that audiences like to learn about products through video a lot more than text. So if a picture says 1,000 words, a video says, I don't know, 1 trillion or something, but it's a great way of learning about products and services and people. So
okay. That's wonderful.
I'm gonna piggyback on what Jessica said and emphasize that it does help you build a deeper relationship with your audience because it is real time. So I don't even know how to do a show that doesn't have a Q&A, that doesn't have the audience popping in and asking questions and letting that be part of the conversation. And that way your conversation isn't just between you and your guest or you or however you're doing it. It's you, your guest, and all of your audience. And then you can even personalize it, because when we do a show, I'll be like, hey, Jessica, asked this question, or Doreen asked this question, and it builds that bigger connection.
And I want to piggyback on that. We're not going to let you talk, Amin, sorry. But I want to, I want to give a shout out to all our entrepreneurs out there. Marketers understand, I hope by now marketers understand the value of good graphics, obviously, and good video. But a lot of our entrepreneurs out there, and I'm speaking to the ladies here as well, we understand not only are we in marketing, not only are we in customer success, not only are we in customer delivery, we're in sales. And our company focuses mainly on corporate B2B sales teams. And so I understand, for those of you who are entrepreneurs on the call, that the idea of shooting video, doing live streaming, uploading video, whatever, the whole idea of the camera is a little bit scary. But the good thing is you're here on this panel today, or you're here on this call today. I guess it's not a call. You're here on this video conference here today, and you're going to learn some really great things, because we have to get over the fear of the camera, because there's just no other choice right now.
Yeah, Kate, please go ahead.
I concur with what everybody else said. Bottom line is that video builds trust. When people can see and hear you, it builds trust. It builds connection like right away. And so once you build trust, everything else is about relationships, and that's what leads to eventually, hopefully, the transaction. But you want to be of service first and build the trust in the relationship.
That's absolutely right. And we got the definition and why people should do it, and we got the basic concepts and fundamentals of it. But I would still like to ask, as my audience wants to know, and people who would watch it later, I mean, what are the key benefits, and how is it unique than the other ways that we are already, developing and generating engagement on social media? How is it unique in itself, and why should people put in extra efforts to go live and use this as also an additional medium to generate engagement? And I'll start with Jessica this time.
Ooh, yeah. So, I mean, the beautiful thing about live video is that everybody can do it. It's also the worst thing about live video is that everyone can do it. I feel that it provides access, right? Like as we all mentioned, but instant access, as Doreen, started off in saying. But the key is that you can go right now. You don't need a lot of tools, right? You can do it from your phone. So it really, truly is a level playing field when you go live. It really is just about using it the right way. I always like to say, what is going to make people watch it? Just because you can go live doesn't mean people are going to watch it. And I like to think about it this way, like, for what purpose, right? So watch, I'm a huge fan of acronyms. So first thing you think about is like, for what purpose? Like, what are you going live for? Why are people going to want to connect with it? Who are those people? So the activators, what is your technique that you're going in it with it, with your consistency, and, because you can't just go live once and think it's going to solve everything. And, your technique with how you're showing up and making it more human, because that's the beautiful thing about live video with, but I would say using this platform is all about just showing up, but doing it for a purpose, not just going live. And it's going to give you a greater advantage if you have that consistency and keep showing up and giving access to yourself. But you have to know for what purpose that you're doing it, and don't just add to the noise that's out there.
Okay, Viveka, please add to it.
There we go. I'm trying to mute myself. Yeah, 100%. I'm so glad you said that, Jessica. There's so many people. I mean, let's face it, every person's first live is, ooh, I'm live. I got live, especially LinkedIn, where you actually have to apply for it. My first live is about being live. It's kind of like back in the days of Blab. My first Blab is about being on Blab. So you really want to have more of a reason to be on live than to be live. And Jessica's 100% right. There are a lot of folks who probably should be a little bit more thoughtful about what they're planning on doing and being, because your reputation is kind of set on that. And so I don't want to scare people away from being on lives. You should absolutely do it, but have a purpose, have a reason, have a focus. And to Grace's point, keep an eye on those chats, because that's where I believe the excitement of a live comes in, is when we get folks asking questions and you get that interaction. And that, to me, is the most wonderful part of lives, is the engagement piece. I mean, social media is great, but it is about having a conversation, creating those qualified conversations. And that's where lives are really, really powerful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that makes you a powerful broadcasting piece of a device within your hand, and you can go live, right? So I'll take it to Dorian.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that, and then Viveka went. But I want to, go beyond that. If you have a community already, an online community, and you're a brand, say you have a Facebook group, going live within the group as the brand allows you to ask questions about your product and your service. You get that instant feedback from people who use your product, your services, and you can do your research, right? You can say, what do you want? What would you change? And so it's a two-way. Instead of like the old media that we knew before social media, it was all about, you're putting the message out and you hope it lands on fertile ground and you hope that they get the message. But social media is about having that two-way conversation and getting the feedback. And live video is instant feedback. It's even better than putting a post up with a graphic and then asking for that conversation, having that engagement. You can do that live when you're on video, and you can get that instant feedback, and you can ask a follow-up question, which is what we're doing here, right? You're diving deeper into the content. I do a live show every week to a close community. And the brilliance of it is that when I have this expert there, I can ask a question, they answer, and then I listen to the answer, and then I dive even deeper into the content because I heard them say something. And that's really the essence of live video, when you're interviewing somebody, where you can dive so deep and get that awesomeness out and get these experts and these guests to really give you everything they have.
That's absolutely correct. And I think that it really dives into that FOMO creating movement with the audience. And when they get a notification that their loved brand is online and they're live streaming, they really quickly just go and watch what they're talking about, what is the community talking about. So it's much way better than, having a post-produced video and put it online, or just having a sort of graphic like you mentioned. And you can do a research about it. You can talk one-on-one with audience. So without, talking further, I'll take it to Kate and take her opinion, and then we'll finally go to Grace.
If you're just starting out in live video, hang on, I just got a pop up. I don't know what happened. Okay, sorry. If you're just starting out in live video, and you're like, they were joking, like you're starting out your live saying I'm doing a live because it's my first live. But I used to be in PR. So have a plan, have a topic, have a theme. It doesn't have to be anything really in depth. But if you have an idea of what you're going to talk about and the questions you want to ask, even though the questions might change once you're live, at least you kind of have a foundation. And so that'll give you like a safety net. So if you're a little nervous to start, think of a topic, think of a reason for doing this, and it'll be a lot more interesting to your audience, but you're going to feel much more confident because you've got a plan.
That's right. And let's take it to Grace now.
I am 100% on board with the plan, and I want to shout out to Jessica Phillips, who dropped the video show template. And I want to add to that whatever plan you have, and I think that having a show flow, having a plan, it takes me so long. It takes me a whole week to plan for 1 hour live show. And it takes that long because you have to come at it with the idea of not why are they there to see you, but why are they, like, what are you giving to them, right? And so we kick off everything that we do with, this is what you're going to get. This is how long we're going to do this. This is what you're going to get. And this is the result at the end of it. Long gone are the days of, hi guys, hi. Those, I call that YouTube 2011. But so I definitely second with like having a plan and then starting off with that value at the front.
So wonderful. So let us just get more into the controversial aspects of it. And I really want to ask you that, what are your favorite platforms that, you would suggest brands to go live? I know that there are some brands and some platforms which have limitations and where you need to take approvals, and some brands give you quick access to go live to your audiences. So what are the key platforms that a brand should start with and then eventually go into the other platforms? And I will start this question with Kate.
Well, like Viveka, I'm a LinkedIn whatever. I don't like the word guru, and she's the expert, so I'm a LinkedIn whatever. Anyway,
enthusiast.
Yes, I am. No, that's my platform of choice. But if you're just starting out in live video, LinkedIn's probably not the place because you have to apply first, and you don't have no idea how long it's going to take to apply. So I would say if you're going to start out, try with, I guess, Facebook or YouTube, and start there. Because you've got to find a place though too. This is also important. You got to understand where your client lives or where your prospect lives, so that you're speaking to them on that channel where they are. So if, maybe Instagram, I'm not really a big Instagram person, so don't ask me about that. But Facebook would be a great place to start. You also, can easily do it from your phone if you don't want to be in front of your laptop. It's set up for success. So start there where you can be successful. And I'm sure other people have some platforms of their choice too. Thank you.
And I'd like to take this to Viveka.
Yeah, there we go. All right. It only took like 10 minutes. I have to agree with Kate. And to add upon that, if you are interested in doing LinkedIn Live, it really, really, really helps if you've got examples of other lives. So 100%, even if your audience is on LinkedIn, you want to be on LinkedIn, you want to do live on LinkedIn, you've applied and you haven't gotten it before, start doing quality and consistent lives on other channels like YouTube, like Facebook, so that when you apply again, because raise your hand if you had to apply for more than once for LinkedIn Live, and like show by, how many fingers, how many times you had to apply for LinkedIn Live, right? So it's not one and done, folks. If you, 20 times. If you want LinkedIn Live, for sure, apply for it, but do lives on other channels first. Be consistent, have quality shows, and then you'll be able to, hopefully, after applying multiple times, get access to LinkedIn Live. I still think it's the best platform, but it's hard to get.
That's true. And let's take it to Jessica now.
Yeah, I agree with what Kate started out saying about knowing where your audience is, right? So, and knowing what you're showing up to provide access to, like why you're going live, because everything that goes on one channel doesn't mean it's necessarily going to go on another. Now, of course, there's amazing live streaming simulcast platforms and tools that can allow you to go on all of them at the same time, like Restream, right, and StreamYard, and there's others out there. But knowing where your audience is and for what purpose that you're going live will help you decide what platform to show up on. Now, of course, it's easy when I recommend, if you're just starting out, to create a group of one yourself, like on Facebook, where you're live streaming and getting some practice and just going live to yourself so you can watch it back. And then you get brave and invite your mom or a friend or something, right, into that group so they can start giving you feedback and test and grow and learn. That's the best thing to do, especially if you're going to be using this for your business. So highly recommend creating a group to yourself to test and go live in, and then decide what platform your audience is going to be most engaged with, and does it serve the purpose for why you're going live in the first place. And if it does, then that's where you show up. That's where you go live, and that's where you stay consistent with doing so.
Okay, Grace, please go ahead.
Well, I don't think you have to choose which platform to go to, because with Restream, you can go to up to 30 plus online destinations, but I still pick and choose, right? I still pick and choose. And you don't have to go live to every single one every single time. As Jessica had mentioned, you can go live to, and Restream allows you to do this, to go live to groups and pages, multiple groups, multiple pages, multiple YouTube accounts. And so a lot of times we also recommend going to a group. There's a lot of groups around social media marketing, I know for sure, and there's a lot of groups around live video where they allow you to go live in there to test it out, to see what works and what doesn't, and also to get comfortable in front of the camera. It takes a while. I have to be like strapped into my chair, or else I'll get up and walk away. Like I'll just get so distracted, go so into the conversation, right? And so so I definitely think that you do have to pick and choose where your audience is. You do have to know. And then once you've gone live a couple of times, you get an idea of how each audience receives it. And then you can also take that content and repurpose it for the other channels as well. So I definitely think that, just because you go live, it's not one and done. I mean, I know that there's several resources out there of how you could use one live video and create, I think, one thing said that you could create 157 pieces of content, and it broke it down per channel. Like you can do a story, you can do a reel, you can do just talking about Instagram, a post, a video, all coming back to generate leads, get them in your sales funnel, whatever it is whatever your goal is. And so definitely think you can use the live video, but it doesn't have to stay just a live video.
Can I add to what Grace just said really quick? Our live show that we do on Magnet Marketers literally is 99% of the content that I use on all the other channels. And it's a simulcast now, but we take that, and it's in that live show flow template that I shared, like exactly what we do and how we break it up to make it 90% of our content. So amen to what Grace said. Like, just because you're spending all this time doing the live video doesn't mean that's the only place in time that it needs to show up. So definitely look at ways to repurpose.
Grace would argue that having the same content streamed on a lot of different channels, but I would like to ask this to Dorian, that every channel is unique in its own way, and the audience are there for their own reasons and purposes, right? So how does going streaming live on all the platforms with the same sort of a content generally appeal to the audience of different channels, and how does it really work, Dorian?
Well, so actually I wanted to add two things to what everybody says, and then I'll answer that question. So one of the things that I want to remind everybody, that it doesn't have to be one show with one audience, right? Your strategy for your brand could be that you have one show for people to, talk about your services, or to get experts in, that you teach something, an educational part. And then you could have another show with, say, the CEO of the company or the CMO of the company, where you talk about what's coming and what's new in the industry. So don't get stuck on this one thing that you're doing, and try to be one thing for everybody on the live show. You can have 2 live shows. You can have 3 live shows a week if you wanted to, if this is successful. But do what everybody else says and repurpose the content. The second tip I want to give, as I'm listening to all these ladies, is that if you're worried, and this is new to you, right? Grab a partner. I know a lot of us have partners. I know Jessica has a partner. I know, Grace, you go live with other people. I know, Kate, your partners, when you go live, are your guests, right? You can lean on them a little bit. And as we're doing here in this panel is, I work with clients that are very hesitant about doing live video or doing video at all. And when I tell them I can partner with them, that takes a lot of that pressure off. And I don't mind being on camera at all. I don't mind being on camera with them. Put on a shirt that says, their brand name on it, and help them get the show started. So I think those things are important. And as far as where you go, I would start with where you already have a community, right? I am a community manager. I have a huge Facebook community of social media managers, and we can go live in there. These are people that know me, that trust me, that like me. So that's a great way to get started on live streaming and, answer questions and, have that. And as you do this, just like, think back, guys, go to your first YouTube video that you have on your YouTube channel and you watch it and you cringe, right? So we're all going, it's going to be like that with live video. It's not going to be perfect the first way. Yes, you can have all the show notes you have and the best experts. You're going to make mistakes. So go with the flow and know that each time you go live, you get better, you learn, and then you can add different places. So that, I hope that answered my question, Amar. I know that you asked something else, but I just kind of wanted to get moving forward on what the other lady said, that, grab a partner and really go live where you're comfortable to get started with.
That's correct. I think that generally answers it. And you touched upon a very important aspect of repurposing that video later. So my next question is much regarding that itself. So there's one thing about going live and generating the live audience, but how about promoting the same video in the post promotional effects? I mean, syndicating it, distributing it, and having more audience through it, because you generate this really vital piece of content which you can utilize through different channels and through different mediums and share the value, right? So I'll take this question with Viveka first, and then I'll ask this to other panelists here. I think because it's a very important question that I think that we'll discuss in today's panel show.
Yeah, I love that. And thank you to both Grace and Doreen for mentioning it. Your live, think of it almost as the pillar. Or if you're American, the Thanksgiving turkey, right? To echo Jason. And each, you can take out a 5-minute piece and upload it as a native video on LinkedIn. You can take out a 2-minute piece and put it in your stream. I mean, there's just so many ways to chunk that out. You could absolutely caption it. You can get a transcript of it and turn it into a blog post. You can take out little sections and put it into TikTok, for that matter. Our friend Michaela Alexis is a rock star on TikTok. So there's so many different ways that you can repurpose this content. We actually take my Vengresso Lives and we put that into our training program as a bonus, because to Doreen and Grace and Kate and Jessica's point, having, I interview a lot of people, and having those interviews brings in another voice other than my boring voice for, 17 hours. So it's a really great, you just want to think a little bit outside the box. Where can I take this one piece of content and share it? Now, I will say, and this is where some of you all can come in super handy, it's really hard to do your own live. You really need support. Like, I'm graphically impaired, which is why I'm so glad there's a Designhill and my marketing team, because I couldn't create a good graphic, a good template, a good background image to save my life. And so having a team that can help you with that visual aspect of the lives and then help you to create more content, I think is key. It would be really hard to do it all yourself. So I hope some of you out there who work with Designhill and are creators will partner with each other and support each other.
That's rightly said. And I think among the key things that we are going to agree here today, and there's one more thing to it, that your voice is not boring at all.
Yeah.
So we love to hear from you more often. On
After 17 hours of training, trust me, yeah. No one wants to hear me again.
And let's take it to Grace and ask her opinion on this.
So I think the easiest, dead simplest way to repurpose your live stream is to turn it into a podcast. So within Restream, you can download just the audio. You can download the audio and video. You can also download separate audio tracks. So if you've got, which has happened to me, our neighbors decided to put a roof on while I was doing a live show. So I was able to take my track out of it and clean that up, right? While I was, and God bless the mute button, of course, right? So And I think it's just dead simple. You can download the video from your streaming tool. You can download it from YouTube, is what we've done in the past before we had that capability, and just distribute it out there. And you reach a whole new audience of audio only. And if you think about it, a lot of people will encounter this live video. People are probably encountering it same way as a podcast. They're doing some like light work, or they're doing some, collating of tabs. I don't know, right? But so a lot of people will watch a video and then be doing something else. And so as we produce our live videos, as we do everything, I always think about it in terms of the audio only audience. And so we spend a lot of time, if we're showing something, we're describing it for the audience, right? And explaining it. And we do little cues. Like, so if I'm calling out people in the audience, I'll use them by name and say, oh, Doreen over here from Facebook, or Vivica on LinkedIn says this, right? And so you have that way of adding that extra level of engagement, capturing a whole new audience.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you so much for having these tools. Thank God that they're really helpful in scaling up the process and really helping us get it out to the market and repurpose it. And I would really ask the audience to check which all tools they can access to and which all tools suits them better. LIVESTREAM is one of them, and there are many others they can go and access and visit them and just explore them for their needs. And I'll take this question to Jessica, and then I'll come to Kate and Doreen.
Yeah, I think what Vivica and Grace already said is well about repurposing, and really going back to that same question. Initially, they asked, for what purpose are you creating it, right? So if it's to connect with your audience, to grow search engine optimization, right? Then of course you're going to take that video, and what we do is we take our live stream and we turn it into a blog. We grab the transcription. We also grab the audio, upload that, but then we turn it into social post, right? So you can use tools like Missing Letter, which you can have your blog go in there and it creates 365 days of content automatically. You just grab different intros to that. Then you have a year's worth of tweets automatically. And then Facebook Clips allows you to grab little clips of the video that then you can share out as stories or social posts. You can bring it into another tool and dress it up even more. So syndication, that was mentioned as well. Like, then you take that blog and you put it on LinkedIn and make sure that it goes out to that community, because as Vivica said, it's the best community, right? So depending on where your audience is and for what purpose you're creating it, that's how you can repurpose those that time that you've invested in there. But I love to go back to one thing that Doreen said, and that it doesn't just have to be you. The key is, I want to make sure that every time I go on to a live video or to create a blog, that I'm mentioning someone else in that content, or I'm bringing someone else in that's either going to help me connect with my community, my clients, my team, in some way, because we want people to want to share it. We want to make it craveable. We want to give them a reason to come back. Are they going to get mentioned? Are they going to have a conversation with us? Are they going to get featured? And you want to build relationships, because that's what it's all about, right? And getting people to stick with us longer. So making sure that you're either inviting people in to join in that live stream and feature them, your clients, your team, whomever, or give your team access to go live, or you're mentioning them in the blog and referencing them. I know I've mentioned Vivica and Doreen and everybody in here several times for their expertise. Not only is it serving my community because they're experts, but it's also helping to deepen our relationship. So just go back to for what purpose. And I feel like you have to do it all on your own. Just build that plan right up front and then follow it consistently.
And how?
Yeah, can I go to that? Can I go after that? Because that was actually what I was going to mention. You have Designhill. If you have a guest and they say something awesome, create quotes from other people and send that content to your guests and say, you said something amazing. Here's a quote. We'd love for you to share it, right? So make them, there's on social media, and I want to say this to everybody that's here, sharing, tagging, loving, liking all other people's content is free. Right? So go like people's content, go make them feel amazing, lift up others. That will lift you up, right? So when you have those guests, give them those images, give them the graphics, give them the links, ask them to put them, put it on their website. But when you grab somebody in, like Jessica just said, whoever it is, who you mention, that's going to expand your reach, and it's going to give you access to a new audience, to their audience, to a new audience. So if you have one guest, think about 2 or 3 guests, and you don't do it for that purpose, but that's part of that. And by giving them even, not just before, but after, giving them stuff, stuff like content from that piece of content that you created together, give them those video clips. Don't just hog them, give them to them too. And, that will really, really help you reach a wider audience. That's just what I wanted to go on off what you just said.
And I want to take it to Kate and ask her about the shelf life aspect of repurposing the content, which we have not touched upon as of now. So how about the importance of increasing the shelf life of a content which you have live streamed?
Okay, so am I answering that? This is a different question than the last one then?
you can add comments to that, and then you can come back to this question.
Okay, so I was gonna just kind of tag off of what Jessica said about the blog piece. So, my background and being in PR and writing was writing. And then after I did all this for so long, I'm like, God, I don't want to write. So I got on video, and video was easier for me. But now what I do is I take my video, whatever I'm doing, and then I'm doing the transcription, and then I'm either turning it into a blog, which I can then, get the traction from the blog side. So your video, if you're more comfortable doing video, then do the video, then get it transcribed and use it for the written piece. So you get that SEO traction, especially even for like LinkedIn articles, which are kind of like crickets as far as people reading them. But the SEO traction you get for doing a LinkedIn article is awesome. Like you can repurpose your blog to a LinkedIn article and get that traction, but I digress. So, but use it to your benefit. Like everybody's giving you great ideas. Doreen has excellent ideas. Pull these nuggets out because you can get so much more out of one video, just one. All right, what was the second question? I can't hear you, sorry.
I wanted to talk about the importance of shelf life of repurposing the video. If you could talk.
So as far as shelf life, I mean, and I know everybody's got some great ideas. First of all, remember when you do live video, most of the people who see it are going to see it on the replay. Yes. You're going to get a lot of live viewers, so they're going to see it on the replay. And so when you are in your live video, it's actually inclusive to use language that says, and if you're watching this on the replay, feel free to pop in questions or comments or questions in the sidebar and tag us and we'll come back to them. So 4 days later, I could answer somebody's question, even if they didn't see the original live. So I would speak to that first from the standpoint of like remembering that your viewers are on the replay. So as far as shelf life, though, I think I'll leave it at that and let some other people join in on that.
Yeah, I'll have to take a very short break. We are running very short on time. I'm loving this conversation. I hope we could have more time to do this. And I have a lot of questions to ask you guys, which we have received over the period of last 7 days. But there are a lot of questions that are coming up in the questions section. We have a good audience engagement here as we're talking about. So I'll take a quick short break and I'll come back and I'll take questions from the audience who are live here today with us.
Clarematics is a full-service video agency based around video production. We created a brand that fit our identity at the time, but as we've evolved as a company, we found that that original brand didn't quite fit our aspirations anymore. Finding a partner to rebrand your entire company takes a lot of time and effort. Finding Designhill was an incredible lifeline. Designhill offers a money-back guarantee. If we don't like any of the designs, we get all of our money back. The stuff that we ended up with were well beyond what we had been seeing on other creative services platforms. After creating a simple design brief by answering some questions created by Designhill, we posted, and within a few days, we had over 250 entries. Designhill's platform made it easy to communicate with all of the potential designers. Eventually, we picked a winner. In addition to a logo, our designer also created a letterhead, business cards, and banners for all of our social media platforms. With Designhill's help, we now have a brand that meets our aspirations. We're ready for the future and everything that it's here to bring.
So welcome back, guys, to the last section of this panel discussion. And since we have a lot of questions unanswered, so in this section, I'll ask each question to every panelist here based on their expertise. And I'll start this question with Grace, that people have asked us, please share some tips and hacks and advices that how about increasing the engagement of live streaming.
Well, it goes back to why you're going live, right? So we at our company we do a live demo and product Q&A. We're a tech company, and so a lot of people don't know necessarily all the bells and whistles. And so every Wednesday, our marketing team and our support team go live to answer our audience questions, and that's been a good way to, one, promote our product, to reach out to our audience to know exactly what questions are they having about live streaming, what are the stumbling blocks, and that information goes right to our product development team and says, this is how we need to improve it, this is what people aren't understanding, this is what people are having struggles with, right? And then we use it as a marketing tool in order to reach our customers and to talk to them individually. And so because we do that, because it's so customer focused, because it's not sales focused, it's service focused, it tends to be a very popular show on our channel because it's there to serve and it's not there to necessarily promote.
That's absolutely great. And Jessica, I want to ask you this question. What are the right sort of matrices that people should focus on or measure when doing a live stream? I mean, how do they get to know that whether they're doing it right, or they're on a right path, or whether the audience is really liking it or not?
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to showing up to what Grace just answered. Is when you're saying what purpose that you're going live, then you also need to say, how are you going to measure success? What is your wins? Are you using it to build community? Are you using it for customer service so you can reduce churn? Are you using it to get more people through your buyer's journey quicker? Are you using it to build team engagement? What are you using it for? For what purpose are you creating it? And then what you're going to set up to measure the success of it from there. But then again, like we mentioned, it's not always the people that are going live and joining you live that are going to watch it. It's those audience members that potentially are going to watch it later on and watch that replay. So you need to see what kind of engagement though. If you're getting more people that are coming back because you're building that consistency, and that goes to the question that Grace was asked on how do you grow that engagement? Consistency, right? And making sure that you're showing up at the same time, that you're using it not just to say, I'm going live to go live so everybody can see me, but you're using it to serve others and be human and make that connection. Because, if you're just creating a video to be promotional, do a professional video and upload it on YouTube or make it a commercial. That's not what its live video is about. So show up in that way, and then you'll know by the engagement, more people that are coming back, more people that are staying with your video and continuing to share it out. That's how you know that it's being successful. Also, then when you're repurposing it, how many people are finding it and coming back to you again and again? You'll notice when the conversations start happening, you're building that community, you find more advocates. I like to say it turns your followers into fans, your clients into your biggest advocates, your community into your collaborators, and your team into evangelists. That's when you're making this shift, and your content and how you're showing up is really serving and sticking and resonating with people.
And Vivek, I want to ask this question to you that, I know we have talked about it, that partnerships and associations is one thing, but how to amplify the reach of live streaming?
Yeah, everything that everyone has said is spot on. Quite frankly, and I think a lot of people don't make use of this. If you are using LinkedIn and if you've got LinkedIn Live, create an event. And you can promote that event, and you can literally share that event with everyone. And I know Kate does this. And has had great results. The other thing we do is once we've created the event on LinkedIn, we put it in our newsletter, right? We share it socially. And then that LinkedIn Live, when it first launched, was a nightmare. I mean, first of all, it was like, ooh, everyone who follows you gets to see it. And then no one gets to see it. And then you get to see it, but you can't find it. And LinkedIn has changed that. It pulls the live on top of your head, basically, on your homepage now, which is super cool. And I can't believe no other social channels are doing that. That is freaking awesome. And of course, you can create an event now, which you can promote. So I would say for sure, if you're using LinkedIn Live, create an event. You can still use Restream and stream out to everywhere else. It's just that Restream or whatever you're using will stream out to the event instead of like your personal page or your company page. And it makes it way easier to promote, way more visible. And yeah, it's just a really great utilization of it. I don't know, I'd have to ask the other ladies, do the other channels do events like that?
So Kate,
they do.
What about it? And then I'll take it to Dorian.
Oh,
So can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. I didn't hear you. Who were you asking?
Could you add more to it, and then I'll ask a new question to Dorian.
Me?
Question. Yes, please go
Okay.
ahead.
I didn't hear you say my name. I'm going to just piggyback on what Viveka said. I do a show twice a month. It's called Coffee with Kate, and I have somebody in my industry as a guest, and I create the event a week in advance, and then I put it out on all my social. I put it in my emails, and then I ask the guests to share it. I provide them with all the information so that it makes it easy for them. And just to reinforce what Viveka just said, the fact that LinkedIn now shows the LinkedIn Live in your banner is fabulous, and here's why. So if you do something on Facebook, they'll give you a link, and you can put that out and say, click on this link when it's time for the show to start. On LinkedIn, you couldn't. People just kind of had to tune in and go to your profile and like see if there was a notification, and it was hard to actually give people a way to get to the show. So now that it shows up in your banner, you can say to people, just go to my profile and look in the banner, and you click on it, and then it'll automatically go into the live. And also, FYI, there's a 2-minute delay on the, so you might join in like it's already started, but it's not. There's a little delay. I don't know why, but there is.
So okay, those are the technical aspects that we would like to talk more about in future sessions maybe. And I would like to ask this question to Dorian, which has come to us from the questions tab, that how to find a unique topic DB is asking us here to go live stream about.
All right, that's great. I'm also a blogger like Kate. We talk about that. And this is the advice I got 10 years ago when I got started. Every single question that comes to your company, that comes to your brand, whether they're asked by phone, in person, at a conference, create a database of questions that people ask you. And then you can kind of line them up like they're about your brand, they're about your product, they're about your services, they're about your staff, they're about your location, if you have a brick and mortar. And then you answer one question. That is a blog post, that is a live stream. You start answering questions, right? You ask, they answer. It's a book by Marcus Sheridan. It's the philosophy that I've used for 10 years of blogging. And here's the great thing. If you have a Facebook community, every question that gets asked in the community can become a video, can become a blog post. So think about what people ask you in person, like again, and teach your staff, your contractors, whoever you work with, your team, to do the same thing. Create one database where they can put those questions in. And that is the best way to start. Now, if you are wanting to start a live show about a certain topic, think about your tagline, think about, what you're offering, think about what is your unique selling point, and use that to launch a weekly show, of course. But if you have a live show where you're just, creating content and you're trying to expand your audience, start with answering questions that people have already asked you.
And we have Mary here. She's asking that, do you mentor? Is there any one of you who can mentor a beginner? I'm sure everybody, all the panelists here would love to mentor you. We'll drop social handles of all these panelists here in our chat section after the end of this event. So you can go ahead and follow them, and they'll be happy to interact with you on all the social channels. And that's what all this conversation is all about. And I'll take next question from the questions tab here. And people would like to know, we have people here who want to know about the technicalities of doing it. I mean, what all tools they would need in terms of the physical tools that they would need to go broadcast, because some people are really they have this OCD of having all the stuff in place and then going live, while people can just do it with a simple smartphone, right? So what would you suggest to people like these, Jessica?
I would say start with where you are with what you have. Now, of course, you want to make it look good and you will grow. I'm thinking back to my very first YouTube video that I think Doreen brought it up. It was like talking about how to hold your flip video camera. If anybody remembers that, I'm dating myself a little bit. And I was showing people how to hold their arm before the selfie sticks and all that. When you have the flip video camera, that thing was amazing when it came out. But you started with what you had, right? And what was out there. And then you can grow from there. Like I was all excited getting those little uplights behind me. I'm like, ooh, I'm fancy now. But you start with what you are, where you're at. But the key is making sure that you have good audio, of course. People need to hear you. People need to see you. So just set up with that, whether you're using the lighting from a window, that's in front of you, not behind you, and you're starting out with just having a quiet space because you don't have a mic yet, start there. But technically, if you really want it to look good, get a mic, invest in a mic, invest in these ring lights. You'll thank yourself. I mean, it makes us all look a lot better with a ring light and set that up. Those two things I think are really key. And then also a good computer is something that's going to be consistent, and Wi-Fi, because the other worst thing is nothing worse than you starting and then it looks like you're a mime, or you hear people like 3 seconds after they're talking. Those kinds of things, just the essentials. Start there and then build up as you go. Then you get your up lighting, then you get your little mix boards, and then you get real fancy with the buttons you can push and it launches things for you. But start with where you're at.
Okay, that's perfect. And Viveka, how do you deal with negative sentiments and comments while live streaming and further on while you repurpose the content?
I totally delete those trolls. No, I mean, I've actually only had to delete one person because this person was being very derogatory to my guest. And like, you can diss me, but you are not going to diss my guest. A lot of times people are derogatory online because they don't understand what the guest is talking about or what you're talking about. So you can use that question or that comment to kind of launch an answer or launch a diatribe. But yeah, if for real trolls, like just jerks, I'm sorry, you're blocked. You're out of here. Yeah. Goodbye. And the thing about trolls is you can tell they're trolls. Like if you go to their timeline, everything that they share is snaily, gross slime. So, see ya.
Absolutely right. And Kate, what is so unique about LinkedIn? Mary is asking us in question section that she can really benefit out of in comparison to the other social platforms.
I think with LinkedIn, because it's a professional and a business networking platform, if you've already built a network, then you're most likely, you hope, those people are going to see your LinkedIn content, your LinkedIn Live. The other thing is too, that's key to the event is you can invite people in your network from the event creation. When you're creating it, you can invite people. And then if I have a speaker, I send it to my guest and I ask them to invite people from the event for them. You can also build conversation in the event before the live even happens, so that if people have questions, you can build some buzz there. So that's why I love LinkedIn for all these little pieces. And it's where I live and it's where my clients live. When I stream, I stream to my Facebook personal because I have a solid network there. I stream to my Facebook business page just because. And then I do my LinkedIn, which is really my primary place.
Okay. So what is your one last message to the audience today? I'll take it to every speaker before I wrap this up session. And I'll start with Dorian.
Last message, just get started. Okay. Grab a partner, smile, turn the camera on yourself, use your smartphone that you have. Look at my really cool smartphone thing. This is $800, guys. I know these are expensive. Use what you have, get started, hit record, but grab a partner if you're scared and just go live and talk about your expertise. When you talk about your brand, you get excited, right? Because you started your business for a reason. You got hired for a reason. You love this. Remember why you work and who you work for and what you love about it. And when you do that and you just talk about what you love to do, that shines through and you will have an awesome conversation. So don't complicate it. Just get started and don't procrastinate. That's my
So Vivek,
take it from there.
For the audience here today.
Yeah, I would agree with all that. There's been so many great resources shown. And while Doreen's right, don't hesitate. Also be so prepared. The more prepared you are, I mean, for the ladies from hair and makeup, maybe the guys too, I don't know, to lighting. Lighting is so key. I'm so glad you brought that up. But start with the equipment you have. And, download Grace's great stuff, download Doreen's and Kate's and Jessica's. There's so much great stuff there. You shouldn't have to invest thousands of dollars to get started, but be prepared, know what you're going to talk about. Doreen mentioned earlier, guests are great if you're uncomfortable doing the whole thing yourself. And be consistent, at least on LinkedIn. I know the more consistent you can be, a weekly show, a bi-weekly show at the same time. You want to set that expectation for your audience, and also download my free book.
Grace, please go ahead. This is the endorsement section. You would love it.
I would love it. The message I want to put out there, the message I do put out there is that anyone can harness the power of live streaming. I mean, I started off with a webcam and a window, right? I did up my game with a light this year, and I got to stand for the mic, right? But this wasn't always here. This was a while. So anyone can harness the power of live streaming, whatever platform you're on. Test it, experiment. As Jessica was saying, that there's a lot of content out there, which means there's a lot of audience out there, right? So if you have a message, you have something to say, you're probably going to find that audience on the internet. I guarantee you will. So just get started.
Thank you so much. Jessica.
Yeah, I was going to say, one, I got the resource there. I'm not collecting your email or any of that. I gave you straight to the PDF. Use it. That gives you a step-by-step template of exactly why people will watch for you to plan, and exactly what I do on a weekly basis for promoting my show that you can use. But what I would say is find the thing that's going to make you stand out when you're planning amongst the sea of sameness that's out there. Like whether it's you just showing up to do something creative that's consistent, how you're opening your video, how, Doreen and her orange glasses, exactly. I like to also send the guests that are on my show and thank them for their time by sending them something that's going to delight them, whether it's an audio message, of course, like thanking them for their time, right? And then a card to follow up. Remember that, people are giving of their time to you. You need to show that you are thankful for that in whatever way you can, and build and nurture those relationships with those people. That's going to be what's going to enhance your community too, and keep people coming back. So as you're planning this and thinking about this, just think, how am I going to stand out? And the best way to stand out is to be more human, be more relatable, and add more care into what you're doing.
Sure. So let's hear it from Kate before we wrap up today's session.
I don't really have much to add. Everybody said everything. I would agree with everything everybody said. Just get out there and do it. Have a plan and have fun with it. Try not to be scared. I guess the one thing I would add, if you've seen other people doing it and you like someone's way of doing it and style and everything, then mimic it. It doesn't mean copy them, but use that as your inspiration and your way to say, well, I really like how so-and-so does it. That's what I think I'd like to do. Use that as a model.
Okay. So thank you so much, guys, for being here today. We have stretched out the time, but I would love to have stretched it more if time allowed us. And this was indeed a value-packed session. We touched upon a lot of topics. Few of the topics we couldn't touch upon and we missed. And I would really like the audience and would ask them to follow these great experts here that we have in this panel discussion. Follow them for their advices. Go on their social channels and like them. You can ask them directly the questions that we could not ask them directly here today, and they would be happy to answer you. So this is not where it ends. We have a lot more events coming up in the future days. So if you guys are interested and haven't registered yet, I'm putting the link in the chat section here. You can just go ahead and register for the upcoming events. And to stay updated with events like these, you can go on Designhill LinkedIn channel. You can like us there and suggest us the speakers and topics you would like us to cover. And to watch this session and many other such wonderful events, you can go on www.designhill.com/events, where you can follow this this event and you can drop your comments there. And really, suggest us what all you liked about it, what all you didn't like, and where you want us to improve in future sessions. And for all the designers and artists who are listening to this and wish to be part of the thriving Designhill community, and all the business community across the globe who wish to utilize these artists and creators for services and for generating high-quality creative solutions, please visit www.designhill.com. On that note, I would like to say bye to everyone for joining us here today, the audience and our great panelists. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.